comment करें. Hey what's up guys, I very well we are start our live we are project review ICNT. ICNT is the native impossible cloud and network ICN and declines complications and foremost and said great strategies complete and growth and that the investments by helium breakers and NGFs capitals fleet and ICNTs fully derogators. BTS full total staking year 25 crore ICNTs token stake BTCs money period 10 days and that total stakes 1786 and 94 9471443 BTC APS Stephen 1% individuals holding cap 52.08% holding case 1041.66 ICNT 47 3068 individuals okay BFE 10 BTC my reward card including rewards ICNT my staking BTC BTS full and the total staking record 1 crore ICNT token stake ETH and that mining period 10 days and total stake 41,458.028372 ETH and FER 1.53% and the individuals holding cap rate 49.99 cent and the price push holding cap and that for 1.66% and the BF is staking 300 ETH my staking ETH my reward ICNTs full and 70,000 ICNT token staked ICNT and mining period 10 days to staking 7,000 scary. And if yet 78.46% my staking ICNTs and my reward curriculum reward ICNTs. Official website. The AI cloud and implications, certifications, and that and which is selected inspection that declines and that anchored friends and the web already and delivered 7 million persons in a pair 1,000 fast interest and that silence for and that 18 previous and break the 2 by the BCS and 4750 FDBs and deep pro inductions 10 billions and web 3 certifications 1 trillion and performance 3 case strict ICNTs maintains slip the declines interments and the late foremost and extent take life the most just white papers and live persons programs ICN. We are the already lives and we are not use white paper only for the radical science and delivered systems and delivery instructions and all AI needs storage before computers. We are the buildings the data layers and powering AI cloud and B unit BC network intercommunications OFTs partners. 1K and G limit holdings and threat HBK visitors and for most and capitals and GBSK visitors coin IS late applications 30 years investment 30 4 million ecosystem and foundings and for leadings and for BCs and for the node sales in the past performance and that the competitor list persons thought. And that declines and that we are the conference and the face and that now so now when the brilliance front and own people I see this declines and bed builds and bed games and on it text and applications that run and blended own it the news and critical hybrid and fit has issues and ICNs ecosystems and service and features LEDs and that ICNs including green features and code that in 2 days. Notes status of the high friends and highest marks ICN the critics and then Chileans and buildings and that and hardware for most and that provides and that declines from and that most is the natives with and that the better securities and competitions comfort and that hold application layer ICN protocol, the applications layer, and declines and architect designs and typically investment product. They are platforms and that customers needs and ICN's protocols from most ICN's protocols that and set and sended into the networks, ensuring the high performance and liquidity labs and that competing and founders and includes communications, the resources, hybrid layers, and the hybrid provides an ICN's retribution capabilities and for most marketplace for most rapid and place and market capabilities and the resources and layer hardware leaders. Our red move. I can both and basic platforms, code protocols, and fatigue lines and searches, code servings and living sets, conventions, letters and abbreviations, the hydronodes and that entails that and on brings and communities from and that commercial safari and declines formations and that might and that I see and that officials and launching with and that fasting methods. And ecosystems and cricket splitters ecosystems and protocols punctuations and architectures and festive complete forces and fit and phase use and figurative asked and that could ask questions. What is the good network? And is impossible and clouds and for ICNs and developers and for founders and the channels and latent flows and multi-service and farmers confident and co-transportation instructions and confident for most apparent hypotheses and agri declines insurance platforms and securities ownerships and for most দুটোই মিমিয়া দাদা দাদা এস কম গেস No, I guess the Burgo and live salad. Live with the common to do. Amazon developers and foremost decline state and deprecation and project ASEAN's police for most divergences and liked and decline mass complication or some variables and confirmation security and stipulations and front and declines greater questions and digital ecosystems. How is that impossible? And that insistence I seen and the stories and that completed the inspections and certifications and certifications and the hierarchies and that monitoring logos and standards and receivers and and strict ICNT and network and receive and web to left ones and securities for most and so the hype foundations and then light and founders ICNT and which and be bus and regulations the reward of the hatta you sound like them you do sound like them and situation for most in application and education the education and the founders and for impossibles and web3s and that other nodes and for most and get web3s declines and web3s lateral security for most clear my kind is condo and hyper integrations and that and the integrations and for dogs and like when decline skills holders network from most encrypted to holders distribution and unification based in governance protocols. What is the most encrypted for most and decline following the following weapons. And it is data security and that could not affect that appropriate levels and IC and the declines control reductions and for most operations and like the declines securities and the additionally user scans the skip verifications and for most appearing the potential declines and governance and the instructions and ecosystems for favorite verifications and how to bridge ICT. The bridge of ICNT solutions and applications and for last most applications in Candies. Raisa, again size sir. Halila Amur Kasdi. How to stack and token stakes and ICNTs for recorded for most and hypothesis for most ICNTs and the developers as state of the choice and the securities and then the futures unrested amount for most apparent hypothesis. Final confirmation is more details and specifications are found as below restrictions. How to strict ICN, the strict ICNs and a negative ICN and consular wallet with connected for and that ICNT for most strict on that choice and others for most found extensive articles for most and hypotheses how to manage and that manage and that assistant strict and for focuses and like and leaks and the stake positions and activities and weekends and then more declare expression found the applications being box vision. However, the ICN restrictions and the ICN stills and progression specification and for amounts and that choice and then that look and that for 8 months and longer than certifications and like freely on stakes for most and the unclassified articles and blog sections. Infosys could networks ICNT Siemens and CandyDrop Launchpool Simples and the Canada ICNT Stadiums and July 2025 and then in 10 UTC's reward and platforms use the Renaissance Launchpool Salvas and Canada Simples and tool and Infosys networks and that ICNT according and methods and experience and benefits CandyDrops and the CandyDrops and awards and planted the Infosys go to networks and the NSDR drops and for 28 crore ICNT even period. Brother 2025 13 CTC spawn and 12 13s and that it is alphas and carnivals and applications for and the development and applications and like and for motion capitals. It is long to rising, long to strict and good and then the most rewards for in liked. The simplest and the get long flies changes for 4 and dead like 50s and FPS and only beyond for most and a paragraph bonuses on side that about the impossibles and clouded ICTs. I say you do this and networks often and applications and light and different ICTs native and tokens impossibles and that ICT and DS and that likes and declines compositions ecosystems and for most applications like applications and that platforms were recorded and that with declines and most applications allows for the and declares and on 10,000 interface and through likes competencies for most apart include strings and that and the was 10,000 specifications that is specifications the strings 2,000 and that internship specifications and that likes and bid the more animals and then for investments and that loss and for most invocations for in the like applications. And holders and notice for most apparent potencies and that and the candies and more note and that does more difficulties and that any specifications and that like and note the where most accurate information and accurate declines with the gate teams and that July 3rd to the gate photos and print about that and the construction safety and code and easily for most and release on gate. Action now then the claimant and then the gets and that what was connected and then visit officials and then the websites and then the agreement and then and text us. Follow us on get to get more bonuses and then like bonus journey. More resources and the trading students and the trading center. Reduce like the in transfer security to 1% the 151% for receivers. Get launches are because get launches and get launches in rotations the other platforms results can it is a that uses and to how to get coins that highs and that APS and top on the Hawkins and conflicts launches and that other fast logins and that gets for most notifications and light and get launches and that and for most turbulences and light and that then so then I see which and that coins and this can get lost from that in the tokens and when that and participants and participants included for the health average abilities and but more details and that was in the hard token videos and then only secure whiches and was years and applications and that like restrictions amounts and that all reward was in the government platforms and paid multiplied and paid essential in the for today. By restrictions amounts and paid and account that how to distributed for most and platform that tokens and multiplications for most applications and taken rewarded over the and spot accounts and we will state most and then distributed. Administrations complete the transport and for simple Santo applications unlock redeemers and the spot assist for most applications and light. Unlock to spot and assist and fed and then assist and the acid reduce and verifications and then simple Android for most and favorite. The ones give up sportsmanship and that the symbols and the some for the and the assist also the automatically and that can I reduce and then import assist any times and then multis and emphasis applications mounts and it and correct to the better staking amounts and for motion staking amounts and ensure mining and then meaning periods and fed at the rivers can I add the additional stakes you can choose and for most and issues tokens ensuring greatest liked received staking rivers and can fix that modify for the simple time that verification modifies launched and for the date for most and potential token sticks and different tokens for and different for most and foods and apples and for most apparent and that food obedience that the how is the resistance solid reward curve and that other solid comes once the duplications for most apparent evidence rich and that for most and most features and for most for the reverse minus and reward fate and fate reward catch each for it and then stigate the assist that will not assist and fit individuals holdings and calculations per rate on launches and BFE full the way what we in case alice unnecessary applications asked and participants and paid applications and automatically and so on the further any predictions on the hours the interest and the durations not be applications about the incident rate and the appears and find the points and stickers Petrodas triggers and released and that hours and last hours and stress into C65 into 24 into 100%. When reward and not and sticking coin FS and the 12 rewarded assist last hours and coin for last hour is losing price and that is stick and when the holy loss and 365 into 1% the appear limitations on difference and when the outer knows and that returns and final issues and that previous and appears the only cave. First and launch with the gate launch application, the address and the BTS ET and the USDT for most users and that players and that apps and platforms application markets applications that have tokens and that launch with stick runs and that and that get is the launch with the F home launch with on clicks on to the strict and that enter the strikings and come from the confidence striking the views reverse in the real station successful strikings. Use the fees confident and then launch push for use accounts and identities education before participating and that solely keep account and assist. account and access my ticket for most and that assist for will be applications that will that the will and the most applications and like extending assistant also mining my two arms to mining rewards. Can they stick? The Guinness sticks and can start and that stickers and for top rates and videos and that can sticks start individuals and monuments and effective from the minute and for one death and one must for I will first and that implication flex that in the highest and trading flex during the whole week that the while the closest and price higher than and that price and condition screens by difficult and higher the vacation and lowest one and for the lowest and lowest reduce and the when the ammo and I know what eggs or honey mar the zolizo and honey man the zoli de to no yen
yeah
zoli de to no yen
pala sana
oh smooth to
yeah
to sa ya na অনেক কথা শোনা যায় লাইভ amplification and fun low state you can the displays and ever can hunda run so the original view sentence pens and dvds including that configuration to click the introductions বেশি না 3 মাস এটাতে কাম করব হুন্ডা অ্যাক্টিং করে
এতে ওরাই আমার কাছে দিবি
না না ইফিডি দিয়ে হিসাব বই আর 2 মাস 3 মাস কাম করি হুন্ডা ডাইরেক্ট moving experience if the most and click go 100% and click our of events no movies and movies abundance and menace and movies and for most and that clicks on applications are needed for anyone. Out of send and contents and for applications the click of buttons and for one spends of hoops work applications out of participants and that in the click and this click our box and this style of the chart and notes for that will be restricted the difficult or exam first configuration that have details and tenders to moving average and notes the web platforms and readers are long set of and the tenders and the bit markers how to buttons and bet the clickers which switch one and application the click or windows and the market and you can a bit trading space and patterns including hardware and below from the left and right applications and then zoom in after the zoom in and application for application block for icon chart to icon the click or remove that node for and the candy sorter Windows options and like oppositions. simple terms and investments, one for certifications and that get same as scientists fixed more applications and that appear and why this application bus does miss out that for rules and rectifications and for most and process are very based for the about this and ICNT and impossible and for most functions and that complete ecosystems and that legalities and for declare interpretation and that verification resistant and that religion verification and division device use. This is the decision and the investment and millions because and the and Jesus and cryptos. This has in full and verification activities and for 70 millions and for ecosystems and that the questions and that neighbors and their growth. Notes interest and post and click their source stories and the issues and settings during and that disqualifications are risks and risks warning and disqualification by market conditions declaration for master applications supervising operates and application responsibilities and for most and that please reductions get teams and July 24-25. Get your collaborate about 3000 collaborations safely and quickly and the easily and on gate taking now sign up to climb up times welcome rewarded and that and on whatever commission. Stay connected and visit your official website and the download the desktops, Windows and the more bonuses follow us on Twitter and more bonuses to and trading topics and that insurance and application transfer securities and check your 100% receivers. And that as in just close and application stock and spread applications and then bills and assets and margins and that tradings and assets close and petrols available and that fish coins and bronze inputs landmarks and application stored great does notes and that digital using the making students and that unlocking a secondary stated application for the user agreement getting July 4 2025. Get teams and July 4 2025 and the Kirito protected over and 2600 crab potencies every quickly Sam Kate and for most appearing crab potencies and crab on get action now saying sign up to climb up 10,000 rivers and that busy investment 40 persons commissions and then like two more get good bonuses on resources and like and soliding social and trading topics and the transaction securities. ensuring that Indians impress and 8,000 graph potencies and like the graph potencies mode the certifications and liked and like those competencies and precautions and like and the notifications situations and like those list and competencies for most and competencies like and then increase the ICT populations and then beliefs during application and like no text most and for most applications and for most and notes and that are the applications and for most competencies and like and application for most and then competencies for applications like to apply competencies and then ensuring the reputation for most apparent in launch it for most and then you can cannot service and like the approaches and for most and ensuring the competencies managers and like to competencies and then like for most and applications and for most and calculations and for the agreements and written communications and like to competencies and like the agreements gateway to capitals and then like and for most in competencies for most in inclusions for the certifications for and the multiplications and like the competencies that carry to computer what until the 600 applications for that take stick now and for most and development commissions and for most transit viewers and for development commissions and they stay connected based on and the bills and extra small bonuses and that to the resources students topics and the community line systems the transfer security and check on 100% receivers. Wifi falde je wamo wifi falde je bo line optic tagule na gula net disturb de gala and carnival issues trade and over to trade and for most apparent evidence for was the progressions and like and celebrations the wood preparations and trade funds and the celebration from the implications the city issues alphas from 3 points and then likes and for the most amplifications for most Providence suspended first and that ICNT and then front and then applications for and like published base and for most and Providence institutes and patented and that for the production net and like CandyDrops for most apparent Providence and like and it for most and the portions and that less and gives ICNT and police applications and then applications and the bills and for most and competence for the applications and light viewers and for most and that communities applications and that scenes and the settings and applications are next to the various modes that give it periods for it and the most and joining us that the viewers and then the evidence and the reading the events and alpha computations and that as it is the approach and the for most and applications and the calculations and that applications and for most and competencies and like and then the that and alpha studies and areas and variance and to show your users can I get alpha points and then the users can and get alpha points and get alpha reviews and switch check one drops and the during the event for the check is the users and the 2000 checks and fed reward evidence and 14 for 18 accident functions and the reward and then other reward and reward 1 2 3 applications and for most applications that is only trade that applications and for most reputancies get is only and receive the faster trades and that the participants sound great and and then the ICNT and began the introduction then with the computers and assistant communication for yeah and participants দেখবেন তো হুলুগা বন্ধ করে দিছে লিভার কাউন্ট কেন মশার ওষুধ কিনা কাল রুম হইতে পারে দে রুমের স্প্যানগুলো মারি দিয়েছে গন্ধটা ঠিক তারিনা বাদ গেছে applications and events for the applications and events and users can get alphas কি সমস্যা applications and they get alphas and for most and applications and for applications and their accounts and their tradings and their accounts and small and their other tradings and other students and beavers and societies and for applications and their accounts and verified and as well for most remittances and paid amounts and amounts that for use the if you the participants and similar periods and that reverse for the amount and events for and versions and original the speakers and data receivers for most techniques and the disponibilities for most and between for that the applications from the application and the electric by the between and the English versions and the get receivers and for most the applications and modified elements that the white papers and the relevance and the alliances and the users UKs and the restricted cannot the more applications and like certifications for most ACSA areas get team right third 2025 for and that like the rate of our 600 evidences surface quickly on easily on gate take out fine of now 10,000 so computers and transfer to commissions and get it and put down the cater desktops and for more follow us on Twitter and resources and education latest and transfer security one groups
ল্যাপটপে নিয়ে ডাকিতে নিয়ে বাতকা হানি কেন তো ওভার ল্যাপটপ নষ্ট করব
ল্যাপটপ ইন না গেল আপনি কোন নাই ওয়াইফাই গিয়ে লাগাইছে রুমের থেকে যায় না নেটওয়ার্ক কি ইয়ার ওয়াইফাই টেনে দিল যা নাটক শুরু করে নতুন ওয়াইফাই লাগালে তো নাটক হয়
ওয়াইফাই কানে আউটপুট আছে না আউটপুটে তো তার টানি রুম নিতে ওই রাউটার ইয়া আছে না
লাইন লইতো না আউটপুট ইন লন লাগবো না
না
লম্বা তাই না তো
তার কি লিয়াবি
জ্যাক লাগবো আরে
জ্যাক নিয়ে ফিটিং আছে
কই দাও
জ্যাকেটাতে ফিটিং আছে তার একটা আমার ইন্টারনেট আছে কত মিটার লাগবে আর নিয়ে লাগাই দিবি রাউটার নিয়ে অটোমেটিক নিয়ে বহুত স্পিড বাড়ি যাবে
বাড়ি দেব তো পুশ স্টেট এন্ড বিডিএস
তার আগে কই জানি যাবে
বালাতে লিমিট আছে
2029 and for then the viewers photo colors and red ICNT এগিন কোন মনে আছে না মো ওই ইন্দু আনছিলেন তে ওই ইন্দু আনছিলেন মনে আছে না জাহাজে মাথা ধরে যেত মাথা ধরে যেত খাইবার লাগা আপু মাথা ধরে মাথায় দলি অবস্থা
কোনে দিছে
and one of the get locked users more than that minus biggest and that device distribution that system distribution is for trading and based on production specifications BFs and along with BF levels and then BF4, Jodo, BF5, BF6, BF7, BF8, BF9 and BF10 to 16. হ্যাঁ 14 মিনিট লাইভ ন করলে টেনে তো students amount and for users 380H that 180H for 80 social হ্যাঁ ঠিক ये हॉरर लगे ना बेकूफ एक ही है
पैसेंजर इंग्लिश
आया ये इंग्लिश सीखना रहेगी हॉरर ना की को
What's English time? Never heard the getting English word.
application stands and project introductions हतरा एक दिन हो बेला दिसे अब्बो हते information और introduction हो by GateLive कुछ है analysis of informations and their configurations and ecosystems and build the replace legacies and then platforms like ours and ours with the client's interface and the great storage computes and the bandwidths and the recent investments and howled beggars and NGPs and capacity space and that ICNT application and light applications 10,000 for and bread 10,000 interfaces the communications for light interface and the 2009 10,000 and 9,000 nodes and for most icons settings for real and that and fit and stick content of this and that website HTTPS Able's icons global GateLive investment is clear that GateLive invested to the assist nodes that and the APIs and platforms marketed that and that essence and that applications better and design better applications are like the application and that marks the person that compare the identities bashers and the applications and that any settings behaviors and that introduction dishonesty disqualified the dishonesties and that translated and that global genus bashers and that the English bashers are the she's making listeners and that and the all right examples
Yeah, Rasham. Interview Galbashi.
and that acid reduce and weight and then things under from off and fabrications. There was clear of sportness and that the symbols and the self author and the research also the automatically and that can I reduce and then import acid times and then multis and emphasis applications amounts and it and characterize the better staking amounts and for motion staking amounts and ensure mining and then meaning periods and fed at the drivers can I edit the additional stakes you can issues and for most and issues tokens ensuring greatest and liked receive staking rewards and can fix that multiply for the every time that verification multiplies launch it and for the date for most and cryptocurrencies token sticks and different tokens pool and different for most and foods and tribals and for most apparent and that for obedience that the how is the resistance only reward curve and that others only comes once the replications for most apparent cryptocurrencies which and that for most and notes with the same word most for the reverse minus and red fade and fade red catch each for it and then stigate the will not assist and fade Individuals holdings and contributing for address on launches and BFE fluctuations the way what we in case alice earning certifications asked in participants and trade publications and automatically and so on and the further any predications on the towers the interest and the durations not be application the about the incident rate and the appears and find the squares and stickers Petrodas triggers and released and that hours and last hours and stress into C65 into 24 into 100%. When reward and not and sticking con appears and the tools rewarded assist last hours and coin for last hour is losing price and that is stick and when the holy loss and 365 into 1% the appear limitations on reference and when the outer knows and that returns and finally issues and that prepares and appears the only cap. First and launch with the gate launch publication the address and the BTS and the USDT for most uses and that players and that appears and platforms application markets applications that have tokens and that launch with stick dons that notice and that get is the launch with the F home launch with on clicks on to charges and the stick and that enter the stickings and come from the confidence stickings the views reverse in the railway station successful stickings. Use the fish confident and then launch push for use accounts and identities education before participating and then solely keep account and assist. Our account and assist my ticket for most and that assist for will be applications that will that and the will and the most predictions and like string assistant mining my two arms to mining rewards. Can they stick? The Guinness sticks and can start and that stickers and for top rates and vigors and that can sticks start individuals and monuments and factory from the minute and for one death and one must for I will first and that implication plus that in the highest and trading price during the whole week that the while the closest and price higher times and that price and condition cleans by difficult and higher the vacation and the lowest one and for the lowest and lowest reduce and the when the Amo and I know what exo can you imagine as Zolizo and Haniman there Zoli de Tonoyan Zoli de Tonoyan oh smooth to to say yeah now অনেক কথা শোনা যায় লাইভ application and fund low state you can the displays and ever can huda so the original views and pens and dvds activities that communication to click the introductions বেশি না 3 মাস এটাতে কাম করব হুন্ডা অ্যাক্টিং করে এতে ওরে আমার কাছে দিবি ওরে না ইউ ফ্রি দিয়ে হিসাব কই আর 2 মাস 3 মাস কাম করি হুন্ডা ডাইরেক্ট moving experience if the music and click go 100% and click our of events no movies and movies abundance and menace and movies and for most and that clicks and applications are needed for anyone. Out of send and contest and for education the click of buttons and for one spends of hoops work applications out of participants and that in the click let's click on box and change and this style of the chart and notes for that and will be reached considered the difficult or examples configuration that targetation tends to moving average and notes the web platforms and reduce the long set and the tenders and the bit marketplace how to buttons and bet the clickers which one and frequency the clicker windows and the market and you can a bit trading space and buttons including hardware and below from the left and right applications and then zoom in after the zoom in and application for application block for icon chapter icon the click or remove tab node bar and the candy sorter windows options and like oppositions. Massive investments and investments on fortunes and replications and that kit. Same as ICNT fixed more applications and that appear and what is application based also misordered for rules and rectifications and for most and rather services based for the award based and ICNT and enforceable and for most and that complete ecosystems and that regulators and for declared interpretation and that revocation is and that million revocation and division device is the decision and the investment and millions bakers and that and division and crypto is as in force and predictation activities and for 70 millions and for ecosystems and that for questions and that equals and that growth. Notes interest and post can click their source stories and the issues and settings during and that this qualifications are risks and risks warning and this specification by market conditions declaration for master applications application approachable present open and application and responsibilities and for most and that please editions get teams and July 24-25. Get your subscriber trade about 3000 subscriber and plus and quality quickly and the easily and on get taking now sign up to climb up and so welcome rewarded and that and on whatever commission. Stay connected and visit your official website and the download the desktops, Windows and the more bonuses follow us on Twitter and more bonuses distribution, trading topics and that insurance and application transfer securities and check your 100% receivers. And that as in just close and replication stroke and spread replications and then bills and assets and margins and that tradings and asset disclose and then and petrols available and that fish coins and bronze infos landmarks and application stored creators notes and that digital using the making settings and that unlocking also you can restricted application for the user agreement getting July 4 2025. Gate teams and July 4, 2025 and the Gate Utah protected over 2,600 crab potencies every quickly Sam Gate and for most apparent crab potencies. And covers on Gate auction now signing to climb up 10,000 rivers and that busy investment 40 persons commissions and then like two more Gate board bonuses on resources.